Who had the greatest MVP season of all time? LT, Mahomes, or was it Marino? We're ranking every MVP season from worst to best. Let's kick it off with a kicker.
Mosley takes a deep breath. It will be a 42-yard try. And they need a good snap. It's good, and the kick is good! And the Redskins have the lead with 4 seconds left. And you folks just saw 21 in a row.
That's right, he's the only primary kicker to take home league MVP. Mark Mosley won it back in the strike-shortened 1982 season. Voters gave it to the man with the longest streak of made field goals in history at the time. Mosley and the Skins went on to win Super Bowl 17. A season fresh off the drive, John Elway captured NFL MVP in another strike year. In 1987, the young gunslinger threw for nearly 3,200 yards in 12 games, leading the Broncos to a second straight Super Bowl appearance. A great year, no doubt, but looking back, Jerry Rice's 23 total touchdowns in that season should have earned him MVP honors.
There are many football legends in Green Bay, but none quite like Paul Hornung. With his combination of running, passing, and kicking, Hornung was a true triple threat.
One of the most versatile players of his time, 1961 MVP Paul Hornung led the Packers to an NFL championship, 10 total touchdowns, 15 made field goals, and the most points scored in the league that season. Hornung's offensive stats won't wow you, but he helped kickstart the dynasty of the 1960s. Jump ahead a few seasons to 1967, where Johnny U's golden arm threw for over 3,400 yards in a 14-game season. Unitas engineered 4 fourth-quarter comebacks, tied for tops in the league. He won 11 of his 14 starts, yet Baltimore still fell short of the playoffs.
4 and 10. They need to go to the 14. McNair looks backside. Bennett's open. Touchdown, Tennessee. Holy Toledo. That's your MVP right there. Steve McNair.
2003 NFL co-MVP Steve McNair torched defenses en route to the league's best passer rating. The dual threat tallied 28 total touchdowns, winning 10 of his 14 starts that season. It was by far McNair's most efficient year in the league, and he led Tennessee to the divisional round. Known as the Cardiac Kids, the 1980 Cleveland Browns won 9 games by 1 score.
25 seconds to go. 3rd down, and Sight lets it go for Logan, and Logan has it, and Logan is going to go. It's touchdown Browns. Dave Logan scores. The Browns lead it. Amazing.
Well, Brian Sipe is the kind of guy who can pull off miracles. He did it 3 times in overtime last year, and apparently he has done it again here.
Quarterback Brian Sipe was the catalyst, throwing 30 touchdowns. His 4,132 passing yards are still a single-season team record. Sadly, these Browns will always be remembered for the infamous Red Right 88 disaster against Oakland in the divisional round. Speaking of the Raiders, let's spotlight Ken Stabler, the league MVP in 1974. Snake took the team to the AFC title game that year, throwing a league-high 26 touchdowns. Oakland went 12-2, with Stabler leading the #1 scoring offense in football. His finest moment came in the final seconds of the divisional round.
Here he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied, he throws. It is!
He caught it!
What a finish! You'll never see a better game than this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you'll agree.
2,200 passing yards and 14 touchdowns aren't your typical gaudy MVP numbers, but Bart Starr was systematically taking down defenses. He led the NFL in passer rating and completion percentage in 1966, and oh, by the way, his Packers dismantled Kansas City in the first ever Super Bowl. The MVP of that game, well, you guessed it. Back to Unitas now, as we highlight the Legends 1964 campaign. While Starr was methodical, Unitas was fearless going down the field. He averaged just under 18 yards per completion. You're not seeing those numbers today.
No sooner can you say, "Go, Colts, go," than Unitas completes to John Mackey, who takes it over his shoulder for the TD, and the Colts up their lead 21-13 as the first half ends.
Unitas led the top offense in the league as the Colts finished with a plus 203-point differential. They'd go on to play in the 1964 NFL Championship. A career revival in the silver and black, journeyman quarterback Rich Gannon powered the Raiders all the way to Super Bowl 37 back in 2002. He paced the league in completions and yardage. It helps when you have a pair of Hall of Famers on the outside. Believe it or not, Gannon is the most recent Raiders quarterback to win a playoff game. Don't sleep on Roman Gabriel, one of the NFL's greatest forgotten quarterbacks. He won his first 11 starts in 1969. Gabriel notched a league-best 24 passing touchdowns and added 5 on the ground. He won 76% of his starts from 1967 to 1969.
Manning buying time, throwing, finding the open man. Manning deep and out in front and catching it is Harrison. And we will go to one of the more improbable overtimes. How crazy is this?
A Monday night football game for the ages.
What a job by Peyton Manning.
The architect of a Monday night stunner, Peyton Manning led the Colts on a furious 21-point comeback win against Tampa in 2003. That certainly vaulted him into MVP talks, and his league-best total in passing yards didn't hurt his case. Splitting the award with Steve McNair, Manning was just getting started on his MVP collection. Much more on him throughout. Solid numbers for Joe Cool in his 1990 MVP season, but we're looking at team success here. Montana won 14 of his 15 starts during San Francisco's three-peat bid.
First and 10, 49ers, their own 39-yard line. Pass is caught by Taylor. He could be gone. Touchdown.
He posted a career high in passing yards that year. Sadly, most remember how it ended. Rather than Montana's MVP performance, it would be his final season as 49ers starting quarterback. From one icon to another, what Jim Brown did in 1957 is a feat yet to be matched.
Jimmy Brown again, all 228 pounds, bowling through the middle and thundering 68 yards for the fourth score.
The man won MVP as a rookie. How crazy is that? Brown paced the league in rushing yards and touchdowns, leading the Browns all the way to the NFL championship game. He put the league on notice right out of the gate. Brown's 237 rush yards in Week 9 was a rookie record that stood for 40 years. Raise your hand if you've heard of Larry Brown.
And today, Larry Brown is the most courageous runner in football. He carried the ball more times per game, gained more yards than anyone in the NFC, and was named Player of the Year.
A forgotten running back of the 70s, Brown was sensational early in his career. 4 straight Pro Bowls, capped off with the MVP in 1972. League highs in yards from scrimmage and rush yards per game, Brown carried Washington all the way to Super Bowl 7. And we're coming back with more Peyton. One could easily make the case for Ed Reed in 2008, but voters landed on Manning and his 4,000 passing yards. Only 27 passing touchdowns, but it was the late-game heroics that sealed the deal.
Manning throwing far corner of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Reggie Wayne. That is unbelievable.
The Sheriff produced 6 game-winning drives in 2008, most in the NFL. Let's rewind 32 years, same franchise, different city. The Baltimore Colts were led by Burt Jones, who was on fire in the mid-70s. The former second overall pick was in the midst of 3 straight 10-win seasons. In 1976, he led the NFL in passing yards and helped the Colts earn a division title. Jones became just one of 3 quarterbacks in the decade to record a 100 passer rating over a full season.
First and goal from the 7. Fran rolls to the right, dumps it out, caught by Foreman, touchdown! touchdown. Chuck Foreman's 4th touchdown of the day. Fran Tarkenton's record-breaking 291st career touchdown pass.
The man who became king of passing touchdowns was also the league MVP in 1975. Veteran Fran Tarkenton led the Vikings to 12 wins, topping the NFL in completions and TD passes. Minnesota looked to be on their way to another Super Bowl until Roger Staubach's Hail Mary put an end to their season.
11th play of this drive, 3rd and 3.
Right here, see how tight they are now?
Jackson can't find anyone. Looking to take off and run, bounces away, still serving, still alive, throwing end zone, caught for the touchdown!
A second MVP award in 5 years, Lamar Jackson continued his stretch of dominance into 2023. Over 4,400 yards of total offense, including a league-best 5.5 yards per carry. Jackson led Baltimore to 13 wins and a spot in the AFC Championship. He was a hair away from going back-to-back in 2024, but some guy in Buffalo had other plans.
Thrown behind, but somehow caught. And now lateral to Allen and reaching for the pylon. Are you kidding me? It's a touchdown.
In one of the closest races in years, Josh Allen jumped ahead of Jackson to win his first ever MVP. 13 wins, 40 total touchdowns, and another trip to the AFC title game. It was Allen doing the most sans Stephon Diggs. The Bills didn't have a wideout go for over 900 yards in 2024, yet Allen was moments away from a Super Bowl berth. Much like Allen, John Brodie was this close to a Super Bowl back in 1970. He's the forgotten man among all-time 49ers quarterbacks, but make no mistake, Brodie could play. He led the Niners to their first 10-win season in the NFL, most passing yards and touchdowns, and the highest rating in 1970. San Francisco's #1 scoring offense came up just short in the NFC Championship game.
Long count from Boomer. He'll throw it on 1st down. He's harassed. Down the middle he goes, and he hits his man McGee. He's got some room. His speed is great. Only one man to beat, and he's going to score. A touchdown for the Bengals.
Boomer Esiason, the man who nearly took down Joe Montana in the Super Bowl. While Cincinnati's 1988 season ended in heartbreak, don't forget who got them to the big dance. Boomer led the Bengals to 12 wins in his best season, a league high in passer rating and yards per attempt, while the team scored the most points in the NFL. 7 years prior, another Bengals signal caller had a near-identical season. He was Ken Anderson, the man who helped put Cincinnati on the map.
While it's true that many stars have shone in Cincinnati, without Anderson, they would not have had near the glitter.
The only difference between me this year and last year, I think, is that I'm healthy. I think the second factor is I've got a lot of great people playing around me.
Over 3,700 yards and 30 total touchdowns, Anderson led the Bengals to their first ever Super Bowl appearance. They hadn't been past the divisional round up to that point. Like Boomer, Anderson's 1981 campaign ended with a loss to the Montana Walsh 49ers. The first of 3 Tom Brady appearances. We begin in 2017.
30 seconds left. Brady, pump. Brady rifles to the corner. Oh, it's caught! Touchdown! Brandon Cooks! Incredible! Tom Brady delivers in the clutch.
A year after his epic 28-3 comeback, TB12 kept it rolling all the way to another spot in the big game. Brady led the Pats to 13 wins, topping all quarterbacks in passing yardage. New England sported the NFL's best total offense as Brady worked his usual magic, but he met his match in Super Bowl 52 with Nick Foles getting the last laugh. 1971, the first time a defensive player won NFL MVP. The great Alan Page anchored the vaunted Purple People Eaters defense for over a decade. AP voters gave him his flowers in that 71 season, a year in which the Vikings allowed less than 10 points per game. Page remains one of only 2 defenders in history to win the award.
This past winner, at 35 years of age. Kelly throws high, and Thomas is there. Thurman Thomas. Touchdown, Buffalo.
The engine for Buffalo during their 90s heyday, Thurman Thomas was a model of consistency. He led the league in yards from scrimmage every season from 1989 to 1992. 91 was the year MVP voters finally came around. Competing with the likes of Barry and Emmett, Thomas amassed over 2,000 total yards and led the league in yards per carry.
Nakua in motion from the 49. Stafford fires downfield. It is caught. Touchdown! Puka Nakua!
This is outstanding. Matthew Stafford, that big arm I talked about, outside the numbers, places it perfectly for Puka.
At age 37, Matthew Stafford produced his best season to date, over 4,700 passing yards and 46 touchdowns, both tops in the league. Stafford's 12 wins in 2025 tied a career high for a single season. The Rams featured the #1 offense in football, thanks to the veteran turning back the clock. Stafford's supporting cast featured Devontae Adams and his league-leading 14 receiving touchdowns and over 1,700 yards from Puka Nakua. Just dominant.
Snap of the ball at 37. Mohamed Sanu with a touchdown. Matt Ryan, he delivers here.
Matty Ice made the leap in 2016, running Kyle Shanahan's QB-friendly offense. Ryan went for close to 5,000 yards and a 117 passer rating. Atlanta averaged nearly 34 points per game, tops in the NFL. He got even better in the playoffs, too. 338 yards per game, 9 touchdowns, and no picks. We all remember what happened in the Super Bowl, but let's not forget Ryan's elite campaign. The first quarterback to win 14 games in a season, Terry Bradshaw was at his best in 1978, a league-high 28 touchdown passes for the best team in football.
Here is Bradshaw giving the ball to Blyer. Blyer reverses it to Swan. He gives it back to Bradshaw. Bradshaw firing for Cunningham. A Pittsburgh touchdown. How about that? A Pittsburgh touchdown to win the ball game.
The Steelers dismantled their opponents en route to their third Lombardi trophy in the 70s. Bradshaw doubled up with a Super Bowl MVP, too. Brett Favre is the only player to win the award in 3 straight seasons. With each year producing eerily similar numbers, it's only fitting that he goes 3 in a row here, too. We'll begin with his 97 campaign. Favre led the team to another 13-win season in the Pac's repeat bid. While they fell short at the end of the year, it wasn't because of number 4. Favre paced the NFL in touchdown passes as Green Bay won 9 games by double digits.
If Brett Favre isn't the NFL's MVP this season, there ought to be an investigation.
His first MVP season was the best from a production standpoint, most passing yards and touchdowns in the league, and a rating just under 100. The 95 Packers won 11 games before shocking the defending champion Niners in the divisional round.
The tight end, Levens, is in motion out of the backfield. Favre, he can run it in if he wants to, but he has a shovel pass and it's a touchdown! Antonio Freeman. How did Brett Favre do what he just did?
I don't believe it.
Incredible.
The 1996 Packers were an absolute force, #1 scoring offense and defense in the NFL, and the league's MVP. Favre led Green Bay to 13 wins in that epic season, finally putting it all together. His career-high 39 passing touchdowns were the 3rd most in a single season at that time. Much like that great Packers team, Washington's squad in 1983 was as balanced as you'll ever find. They were led by Joe Theismann, who orchestrated the league's top-scoring offense. Theismann threw for over 3,700 yards and led 4 game-winning drives tied for an NFL high. The 1983 Redskins cut through the competition until a rude awakening in Super Bowl 18. The 2009 Colts won 14 games. In 7 of those victories, Peyton Manning was tasked with leading a game-winning drive. It would be his 4th and final MVP campaign with Indy. Manning threw for 4,500 yards as the Colts were crowned AFC champs. The man who had to fill the shoes of Joe Montana, Steve Young, had his work cut out for him, but he quickly rose to the occasion and took home MVP in his second full season as San Francisco's starter.
The job that he's done since Bill Walsh left, I think, has been outstanding.
Young pulls it down, comes back out, gonna take off. And he could do that. Steve Young. Touchdown, 49ers. Amazing.
And you ought to learn now with Steve Young, you can't assume anything. The Ram defense assumed that he was going to go out of bounds, and he cut right back against the grain.
Besides his 500-plus rushing yards, Young had the NFL's best completion percentage, passer rating, and threw the most touchdowns in all of football. Did we mention he also went 14-2?
It's kind of been hit or miss each week when they've shown up to play. Brady looking around, escapes trouble, throws, caught by Tate with a man to beat. Touchdown, Brandon Tate.
The first unanimous MVP in the history of the award. It wasn't even Brady's best campaign when you look at all the stats, but New England shredded their opponents, losing just twice in the 2010 regular season. Gronk was a rookie, and the team traded Randy Moss in October, yet Brady still led an offense that averaged 37 points over their final 8 games. Up next, a pair of near-identical Aaron Rodgers seasons, starting in 2014, where he totaled 40 touchdowns against just 5 picks. Green Bay's top-ranked scoring offense put up back-to-back 50 burgers halfway through the season.
Blitz. And what a catch! It'll be 6 touchdowns in the first half.
Rodgers was sensational in 2014 and was still at the top of his game 7 years later at age 38. The Pack went 13-4 in 2021 as Rodgers won his 2nd straight MVP and 4th overall. Once again, he notched 40 total touchdowns and had the top rating in the NFL. On Christmas Day, he made history as the most prolific passer to ever don a Green Bay jersey.
3rd and 5, pass is caught. Lazard, touchdown! There it is, history for Aaron Rodgers on Christmas Day at Lambeau. Career touchdown pass number 443.
After missing the season's first 2 games, 1993 MVP Emmitt Smith still racked up 1,900 yards from scrimmage. Dallas was in the midst of a dynasty, and even when it looked bleak, Smith made sure they stayed on the throne. Who can forget his heroic performance with a separated shoulder in the regular season finale?
I felt my shoulder just pop up. Instant pain.
Smith is down. Emmitt Smith is down at the Giants' 30.
We don't win that game against the Giants without Emmitt's performance.
They'll never forget the day Emmitt Smith ran 32 times for 170 yards and caught 10 balls for 62 and did most of it with one arm.
That's a signature game of his career.
Let's rewind even further to 1979. The Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell, was the most feared player in the NFL and rightfully won MVP. He scored 19 touchdowns on the ground, tied for the most in a single season at the time. Add on a league high in rushing yards, and Houston was back in business. Campbell led the Oilers to their 2nd straight AFC title game.
Play clock winding down, they get to play off. Newton steps up, throws for the end zone. Olsen, touchdown! Another 80-yard touchdown drive. 4 of them in the game for Carolina.
Cam Newton was a one-man wrecking crew for the 2015 Panthers. 45 total touchdowns and 15 wins, the most in franchise history. Cam was at his peak, showing off the full arsenal through the air and on the ground. He led the team in rushing touchdowns and had his best season as a passer, throwing to the likes of Ted Ginn, Jericho Cotchery, and Devin Funchess. It's hard to grasp what Earl Morrall did for the 1968 Colts. Think 99 Kurt Warner. Johnny Unitas was injured in the preseason, and in came Morrall, the 34-year-old journeyman, on his 5th franchise. All he did next was go 13-1, leading one of the most dominant teams of all time. The 68 Colts had a plus 258-point differential as Morrall threw a league-best 26 touchdowns. While Baltimore was upset in Super Bowl III, you can't forget about this unexpected season.
To pay a quarterback much more of a complimentary thing than that.
And that last rush, Macklin hit him just as he threw the ball. Goes to the end zone this time. Flag down. And it's caught. What a catch by Holst. Touchdown, St. Louis again.
We mentioned Warner's 99 season a moment ago, but don't forget his follow-up in 2001. By that point, the greatest show on turf was on full display, with Warner at the helm. His passing yards by season's end trailed only 1984 Dan Marino for the most in a single season. St. Louis won 14 games that year, still a franchise record, and Warner took them back to the Super Bowl. Superstars all over the place for the 1962 Packers, but none shined brighter than Jim Taylor. In a 14-game season, he rushed for 19 touchdowns, an NFL record at the time. Taylor averaged 105 yards on the ground that year, mastering Vince Lombardi's sweep. And best of all, the Pack were NFL champs once again. In 1989, Joe Montana turned in one of the most efficient passing seasons in history. He delivered some epic moments along the way, too.
3rd and 4. Deep route for Rice. Caught, touchdown! Oh my gracious! 28 points in the 4th quarter. 4 touchdown passes from Joe Montana in the final stanza.
Montana completed over 70% of his passes, best mark by any quarterback with 350 attempts, not to mention a 112 passer rating, also a record by a quarterback with at least 300 attempts. While we're not basing these rankings on playoff performances, it's important to mention that he and the Niners obliterated the competition en route to a second straight ring. 11 touchdowns, no picks. Johnny U's 3rd appearance in our countdown and the first of his 3 MVP seasons. Most completions, yards, and touchdown passes in the league. Unitas tossed 32 scores that year, the most ever in a single season at the time. His Colts led the league in scoring and went on to win consecutive NFL championships.
First down from their 39-yard line. Hester in motion. And it's Marcus Allen. Change of direction. What a move!
The great Marcus Allen did everything he could for the 1985 Raiders, 447 touches. That would be the 2nd highest total by any player in NFL history at the time. He excelled with the ball in his hands, setting a then single-season record with 2,314 yards from scrimmage. And how's this for consistency? Allen had at least 20 touches in all 16 games, leading the Raiders to a division title. For our younger fans out there, let's introduce you to Y.A. Tittle, a quarterback you should absolutely know about. In his age 37 season, the Hall of Famer threw an NFL record 36 touchdowns. That mark stood for 21 seasons. 9 of New York's 11 wins came by double digits in 1963. The veteran led the top offense in the league to a spot in the NFL championship game.
And there are 74,057 of you in the seats about to witness a bit of NFL history. Terrell Davis can become only the 4th player in NFL history to go over 2,000 yards. He takes the handoff, running left. Terrell breaks a tackle. He's got it. There it is. Terrell Davis is mobbed by his teammates on the sideline.
One of the best rushing seasons you'll ever see. Denver's Terrell Davis became the 4th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. He carried the Broncos to 14 wins, scored a league-high 23 touchdowns, 14 games with over 100 rushing yards if you count the postseason. Davis was automatic in 1998, leading Denver to back-to-back Lombardis.
There are defensive men in the league who have dedicated themselves, their souls and their bodies, to a holy war against Jimmy Brown. None of them has yet won the crusade.
He went out with a bang. Jim Brown started his NFL journey with an MVP and rode off into the sunset with another. He scored 21 total touchdowns in 1965, second most ever in a single season. Brown paced all players with nearly 1,900 yards from scrimmage. Cleveland won 11 games and made yet another trip to the NFL championship game. Talk about an epic finale.
DeMarco Farr at that right tackle spot for him. Young, go right, touchdown!
2 MVPs in a 3-year span. Steve Young had the Niners rolling in the early 90s, and 1994 was the year he finally got the monkey off his back. Young was superb, amassing 42 total touchdowns, easily tops in the league. His passer rating of nearly 113 was a single-season record by any quarterback with at least 300 attempts. Efficient, exciting, and his 6 TD Super Bowl performance made his 94 campaign absolutely epic. Back for yet another stellar season from the greatest player of his generation. In 1958, Jim Brown broke the single-season rushing record with over 1,500 yards in 12 games. A man amongst boys, Brown scored 18 touchdowns, with half coming from at least 20 yards out. Defenses knew he was getting the ball and couldn't do a thing about it.
You never know with these guys. From the 2, Mahomes escaping. On the move, Mahomes stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown to Edwards-Helaire.
Stop it. You're not allowed to play football at this level and toy with the guys on the other team.
5,608 yards of total offense, and that's after you lose your best receiver. Patrick Mahomes put the Chiefs on his back in 2022, winning 14 games and a Lombardi trophy by the end of the year. Tyreek Hill was traded before the season, and many wondered how Mahomes would be affected. Turns out, not at all. 45 total touchdowns, most in the NFL, and a 105 passer rating. More on him soon.
From the 15-yard line. Give it to Sanders.
Oh, what a move! Oh, my! Barry cut back. Now he's got it. 50, 40. He's well over 2,000 now.
While he shared the 97 MVP with Brett Favre, Barry Sanders' 2,000-yard campaign was a sight to behold. He fell just shy of the single-season rushing record, but he did make history elsewhere. 14 straight 100-yard rushing games. No one has matched that feat since. Barry also set a record with 2,358 yards from scrimmage, and oh yeah, he also averaged over 6 yards per carry. Just incredible. As was Marshall Faulk in 2000. Spearheading the NFL's best offense, the do-it-all back racked up nearly 2,200 total yards. Faulk found the end zone 26 times, breaking Emmitt Smith's single-season mark.
2nd and 10 for the Rams. Curtin Warner, quick hitter out the right side. It's a first down. Marshall Faulk, Russell 40.
Go, baby.
He's into Denver territory.
Go, baby.
Marshall, the 35-30, 20, 15,
Yes.
10, 5, touchdown Rams.
What a block by Isaac
72 yards by Marshall Faulk.
Faulk averaged over 5 yards per carry, but his versatility is what made him so special. 81 catches for over 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. He had better receiving numbers than Jerry Rice that season. We're in rare air when it comes to all-time seasons. Up next, another appearance from number 12 in Green Bay, 51 total touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers could do no wrong in the bizarre 2020 COVID season. He completed close to 71% of his passes and posted a 121 passer rating. 13 wins, leading the best scoring offense in football. Rodgers and the Packers were unfortunately sent home in the NFC title game. 5 years after Marshall Faulk set the single-season touchdown record, a new king of the end zone emerged.
Look for Sean, he gets it. He's going to go right this time. Cuts it back inside, he's inside the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Seahawks! It's Sunday night and Sean Alexander knows where that end zone is.
Sean Alexander racked up 28 scores in 2005, setting a then NFL record. He also rushed for close to 1,900 yards, helping Seattle win 13 games and secure a spot in Super Bowl 40. Alexander found pay dirt in 14 of the team's 16 regular season games.
And Manning, he's got it! Manning's got the record! Peyton Manning has surpassed one of the NFL's most significant milestones, throwing more touchdown passes in a single season than any other quarterback.
Breaking a 20-year-old record will certainly put you near the top of the list. Peyton Manning's 49th touchdown pass in 2004 surpassed Dan Marino's mark set 2 decades earlier. Manning was lethal that season, throwing for over 4,500 yards for the AFC South champs. His 121 passer rating was a then record for any quarterback to throw at least 300 passes. 3 different Colts receivers went for over 1,000 yards in 2004. Lamar Jackson set a new standard for modern-day quarterback.
It's a 2nd down and 3. Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles. Now he's got an entourage. And he's got a touchdown. He is Houdini. What a play!
Not sure anyone thought these numbers were possible. In 2019, he threw 36 touchdowns, most in the NFL. Pair that with over 1,200 rushing yards. It's the highest total of any quarterback in history. Jackson won 13 games as a starter and led the best offense in franchise history, a 113 passer rating to go along with 43 total touchdowns. Jackson became just the 2nd unanimous MVP selection ever.
Belton in front of Adrian, 2 tight ends, they're off to the right, they'll run behind it. Adrian turns the corner at the 20, first down, breaks a tackle at the 25, breaks another at the 30, and he's loose! Adrian's inside the 30, 20, 10, touchdown! It's an 82-yard touchdown run by Adrian, the longest of his career.
All day. Adrian Peterson's 2,097 rushing yards in 2012 are the 2nd most ever in a single season. Just a year earlier, he tore his ACL and spent the entire offseason rehabbing. Peterson came back with a vengeance, totaling just under 1,600 rushing yards in Minnesota's final 10 games of the season. He accounted for 42% of the Vikings' total yardage that season. Simply put, Peterson was the offense.
Looks over the defense, Tampa coming on a blitz, snap to Rodgers, looking lofts to the left side for Nelson, makes the catch, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Rodgers again against the blitz. Just unstoppable against the blitz.
Aaron Rodgers was a man possessed in 2011. The Packers won a franchise record 15 games, and get this, 5 different receivers caught at least 6 touchdowns. Rodgers' 122.5 passer rating is still a single-season record with a minimum of 300 attempts. 48 total touchdowns scored and only 6 picks. While the Pack were upset in their first playoff game, it doesn't take away from his historic performance.
Green drops. A great connection to number 18.
Now we got Trent Green down. We've got Trent Green down in the middle of the field.
Kurt Warner checks in. Certainly not where Trent Green is and the kind of experience that Green brought to this offense.
We will rally around Kurt Warner, and we'll play good football.
That they did. The 1999 Rams came out of the gutter, going from worst to first in the blink of an eye. Unknown quarterback Kurt Warner went from bagging groceries to leading the NFL in touchdown passes. St. Louis won 13 games with the league's #1 offense. Who saw that coming? And it's not like they were barely getting by. No, every single regular season win came by double digits. These guys were on a warpath and took home the Lombardi in the craziest Cinderella story you'll ever see.
4th and 9. They're chasing after him. Mahomes in trouble, flings it across his body, and it's caught by Hill! Hill has it! He came back for it, and he's out of bounds at the 12.
An amazing play by the Chiefs.
I'm not sure anybody else in the National Football League can make this play.
5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in your first year as starter? Yeah, that's going to get you in the top 10. Patrick Mahomes quickly put the football world on notice in one of the most dominant seasons you'll ever see. But besides the stats, it was the style in which he was doing it. We hadn't seen a quarterback play this way. Mobility, arm talent, and the clutch factor, he was moments away from knocking off Brady in the AFC title game.
Peyton. Oh, Peyton still on his feet. Is Walter Payton.
Another piece of art.
Like some others on our list, Walter Payton was a one-man band for the 1977 Bears. He accounted for almost half of the team's total offense, scoring a league-high 16 touchdowns. That Chicago team needed every bit of Payton's production. From weeks 7 to 13, Sweetness tallied over 1,300 total yards. His heroic performance carried the Bears into the playoffs.
The Juice should break the National Football League rushing record in this next series. Simpson running left. Simpson breaking loose. And there it is. He's all right.
The first man to ever rush for 2,000 yards in a single season, O.J. Simpson did it in 14 games, too. The Juice averaged 143 yards per contest in 1973, and it's hard to fathom any player getting close to that number today. Buffalo's leading passer that year threw for 939 yards and 4 total touchdowns.
Tomlinson off the left side. Tomlinson sidesteps. Hello, history books.
He broke the single-season touchdown record by week 14. LaDainian Tomlinson was ridiculous in 2006. The Chargers won a franchise-best 14 games with LT running wild. 10 games with multiple touchdowns for the NFL's highest-scoring offense. Tomlinson amassed over 2,300 yards from scrimmage and 31 total scores, still an all-time high today. Hope you had him on your fantasy team. From LT to LT, it's time to highlight the second defensive player to win MVP.
Jaworski, sack, Taylor. You can run, but you can't hide. Lawrence Taylor from behind.
Lawrence Taylor was at the peak of his powers for the 1986 Giants. In fact, so was the team. The G-Men won 14 games before capturing Super Bowl 21. LT recorded 20.5 sacks, tops in the NFL. Taylor had 4 games with at least 3 sacks, none bigger than New York's pivotal Week 14 win over Washington. It's been almost 40 years since a defensive player has won the award.
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning. Great job. 51 touchdowns. The new single-season mark.
No QB in history has thrown for more yards or touchdowns in a season. Peyton Manning hit the jackpot in 2013 with a record-setting campaign yet to be topped. 5,477 yards and 55 touchdowns. 4 different Broncos scored 10 times. Denver poured on 606 total points, the most ever in a single season. Manning had 9 games with 4 or more touchdown passes. Did we mention he was 37 years old at the time?
When you talk about breaking records, he didn't break records, he shattered records.
Those touchdown passes, 48. Most yards gained, 5,084. Most passes completed, 362. Most 300-yard games with 9. Most 400-yard games with 4. Those are all NFL records for young Dan Marino.
A sophomore season for the ages. At the age of 23, Dan Marino became the first player in league history with 5,000 passing yards in a season. Yes, Manning, Brady, and Mahomes followed, but the fact that Marino did it in 1984 says it all. He broke the single-season touchdown record in Week 14 and finished with 48 total passing scores. Miami won 14 games, still a team record, and would play in Super Bowl 19. Give it up for Dan the Man.
Leaves the Patriots with 3rd and 10. Brady with time. Going back again to Moss. Touchdown Patriots. Well, there's two great football players showing why they're great. And Brady and Moss hook up on a record catch.
Hard to go with anyone else in this spot. The only quarterback in league history to go 16-0 in the regular season, Tom Brady also threw a then record 50 touchdown passes for the 2007 Patriots. New England was a buzzsaw that year, scoring 589 points, the most ever at the time. Accolade after accolade, but the biggest prize of them all eluded Brady and the Pats that season.